a tropical paradise along the equatorial belt, comprising an astounding string of 17,000 plus islands, bounded by 2 oceans, home to abundant sea life. Indonesia is the epicenter of marine biodiversity. Professional dive operators providing international standard gear and services, supported by a highly experienced dive staff. Endless underwater gems waiting to be discovered. Boasting hundreds of stunning dive sites, catering to divers of all levels. Dive breathtaking drop-offs and explore old shipwrecks and countless variety of macro life. Comfortable and friendly dive resorts and liveaboards. For exciting diving in various parts of Indonesia. An underwater sanctuary for some of the most remarkable creatures. An extraordinary display of marine life amongst our renowned national marine parks. However, vast areas are yet to be explored by divers. The heart of the world's Coral Triangle Center. Home to over a quarter of the world's marine life. With more than 600 species of coral and over 3,000 fish species. A spectacular aquatic biosphere. Unlimited underwater adventure. Diving beyond imagination. Wonderful Indonesia.
A united journey isn't just about miles traveled, but milestones reached. That turns window seats into breathtaking views. We're sharing smiles, experiences, and connections transcend language and culture. You realize you're not traveling to get away, but to get closer to yourself. Because it is travel that helps us discover that we are all more alike than we are different. And that this journey is just beginning.
Sick.
Connecting people, uniting the world.
day I woke up below the surface, where I learned to face my fears and go with the flow. But it's when I came to appreciate the big and the small, made new friends from all over, and could no longer hide my true colors, that I knew I'd emerged a local.
Makalibay, no?
Hello, my dear friends. It's been a while since your last visit, but I want you to know I'm here. Here for you now and in better days ahead. Things may have slowed in your world, but it's anything but slow here. My reefs teem with colorful fish. Schooling hammerheads circle the deep. Playful dolphins roam the shallows. And gentle waves whisper, "Come back to me." I know you're spending hours dreaming of my underwater forest, of my soaring eagle rays, of my wise giant leatherback turtles, of my playful and friendly lions, of the stars that shine below, and the serenading humpback singing. And just as you are resetting, so am I. Everything is more vivid, more plentiful, brighter. I'll continue to surprise you more than ever before. We're always connecting, you and I. In me, you seek solace. And I promise to heal you and delight you. My creatures are calling. A new adventure is waiting. I'll see you soon.
Peaceful sleep is ever there in a blue that lies beneath. He can sense his spirit and like a feather take
Our island is a gift that we have shared with the world. But in the stillness of today, our island is asking everyone to give us a moment. To be with our family, Ifamagonte, our children, our grandchildren, Itanota, our land, our thoughts, to be creative. Fanhongi, to have faith. To be with the things we know and the things you've come to love. Give us a moment, and we will share one together soon.
Butterflies are under my skin. I can feel the wings trembling. They would save me from falling. Waves are bringing me back to the land. 100 hands are around me, but they would save me from falling. See the lion so high, I would like to be with them.
love the ocean, protect the ocean. Ocean positive. Swimwear made from lost or abandoned fishing nets, recycled from the sea.
Well, good evening. Welcome to ADEX Pixel Expo Live webinar. My name is Elvin, Regional Project Manager for the ADEX series, and with me today is my colleague Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. Well, Jasmine is a familiar face for many as she is our account manager for the ADEX series in Singapore, China, India, and FedEx. Jasmine, I know you are a diver. What have you been doing at home since the circuit breaker is implemented? I have seen many people uploading pictures on social media of them in their wetsuits and they go diving in their bathtubs. Are you one of them?
No, clearly I'm not one of them, but I'm still constantly looking out for places to dive. I just really need to be in the water real soon, right? And of course, I'll probably hit somewhere nearby, maybe even a local dive as well.
Right, nice one. So I'm sure many divers out there can't wait for the circuit breaker to be lifted, right? And when it happens, the first thing I think we are going to do is to pack our gears, contact our local dive operators and go diving. Well, that is why today we have invited 10 local dive operators to share with us on the recovery of COVID-19. And they are, Jasmine.
So number one, there's Benedict from Marlin Divers, Eddy Neo from REN Scubaworx. Yeah, could you guys wave when I call out your names? Ricky Ko from SSI, Jacki from ADA, George Lowe from Scuba Nights, James Costello from REN, Elvin Ng from Scuba People, Alex Yeo from TDISDI, Hua K Yao from the Marine Conservation Nature Society Group, John Thet from ADEX, and of course our moderator for today, Beng from Friends of Marine Park Community. Welcome all.
Welcome. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. I shall now pass the platform to Stefan to start the panel. Stefan, please.
Thanks, Elvin. Hi guys, good to see everyone. A little bit drier than usual, and either everyone has good lighting where you're at or you're really pale from staying at home. Well, let's get into it, guys. We're going to talk about how we're going to conduct ourselves and our business after circuit breaker releases, and how we're going to need support from the stakeholders within our industry. Maybe we can start off with some challenges, if you can identify it for us. And also within the conduct of the discussion today, we'll be also looking at how consumers can support you, how training organizations can create programs and support programs for you as well. And then we're going to look at ourselves as service providers in what we can do for ourselves to pick things up and to find a new normal as well. For the people watching, we're going to let you send in some questions on this panel. Just one rule is that you cannot send in questions for your exam, the exams that you're doing for Scuba course. So send in industry-related questions, please. So I think we're going to kick it off with some challenges. What are the common challenges faced by dive service providers, and how has COVID-19 further affected your livelihood? Maybe Martin, you can share with us some challenges.
Hi guys, hi everybody, welcome. On the topic about challenges about dive service providers, I think like what's going to happen after the COVID, we're going to look at a very slow growth, obviously. It may take time for us to actually pick up, which is actually a common understanding from all of us. But what would happen is actually we will be looking at a very slow start in a lot of aspects, right? Obviously people, I myself run a local dive operation. Yeah, it may pick up a bit. There are a few other guys who actually do it also. Like present here, I think all of us would be doing it for a temporary couple of months before travel actually starts again, right? How has this COVID furthered our affected livelihood? There's actually going to be quite a bit of challenge, right? Rents, whether we can actually accommodate and make profit to actually cover those rents, right? There'll be a lot of businesses out there, brick and mortar shops will actually be doing that, right? And I think there'll be also other ways on how we can actually do it. And I believe that now, thanks to technology, we can actually look forward towards video conferencing, classes online, right? Which we can actually then mitigate those little challenges. Right? As for now, what would happen for us would be in terms of getting our divers or non-divers actually to come in and actually understand the sport. Right? A little bit more theoretical aspect may be in play right now, right, for us, meaning we can actually do a lot more theory in a sense, having a bit more face-to-face time with the divers, right? Other than that, basically what will happen is that I think it will be a very great challenge for us in the next couple of months once the circuit breaker is released. Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Martin. Maybe what about George? Can you give us some challenges that you faced before, and with the COVID situation now, what else has affected your livelihood? George, you're mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Hi everybody, George here. So I'll break down the common challenges into three main aspects: sales, expenses, and logistics. So previously, sales wasn't such a common challenge because Singapore, the people in Singapore, they're still quite adventurous. So there is an incoming demand of new divers and current divers who dive quite often. So expenses, not only in diving industry, and I think in every aspect, expenses like rental, manpower was always an issue. So that's why the strong incoming sales is always something that is required. And of course, even though Singapore is actually situated in a very strategic location, it requires a lot of overseas travel to Indonesia, to Malaysia. So even like a simple arrangement of the captain or ferry transfer accommodations, this was always one of the common challenges that dive service providers face when they're not actually at the island itself. So furthermore, with COVID right now, where traveling is down to zero, so suddenly the logistic part is not an issue, but definitely it has affected the sales almost by 100%. But like Martin has mentioned, due to technology, right now we're doing a lot of conference courses, and we're doing a lot of what we can, like sharing inspirational videos, keeping the mood alive, letting people be reminded after COVID, there's a lot to look forward to. But definitely, like I said, after COVID has passed, there will be a slow recovery phase into getting people being comfortable to be traveling again, and the most important thing, making the divers want to spend money on diving. Yeah, that's all for me.
Well, sounds like there's a lot to be done. Maybe we can get some suggestions on how the divers themselves can support you. How do you think Singaporean divers can support local operators, and why do you think they should support local? Let's go with Eddy. Do you have any ideas?
Hi guys. Okay, I mean, first of all of us, we need to acknowledge that the normal operation of a dive operator or dive center don't work anymore. Okay, divers don't come to your shop anymore to inquire about courses. They can't even come down and buy gear or even inquire about dive trips. So many of us have actually embarked on the digital platform, okay, to offer online courses. And for myself, we are even offering delivery services, free delivery services for divers who wants to buy equipment and who want to drop off their things for services, for servicing. So I mean, all of us being the the backbone of the diving industry, whereby we have been doing good for the diving safety, and all the good aspect of this business. So we really hope that divers can really come in. At the end of the day, after COVID, if a dive shop cannot survive this period of time, okay, after COVID, the shop will be closed and they will be gone forever. They will not have the ability to restart this business again. Yeah. Beng.
Yeah. Okay, well, I like the free delivery. I wish I had it when I was learning diving. That makes things simple. Elvin, from Scuba People, you have any thoughts on how Singaporean divers can support you?
Hi everyone. Thanks for arranging this. I'm Elvin from Scuba People. Okay, my thoughts for diving. Okay, as all of us as Singaporeans, fellow Singaporeans should support our own local SME. I think yeah, it's really very hard impact on especially scuba diving because we are related to travel, retails. So now I think our sales is really near zero, very close to zero as no one travel, no one's diving, no one's buying equipment. Yeah, so as a fellow Singaporeans, I guess everyone should stand together as our stakeholder here. Let's work together to promote scuba diving and yep, and all Singaporeans support us, please. Yeah, I'm pretty much there. Thank you, Beng.
We have a seconder for that. Okay. Thanks, Elvin and Eddy. Those were valid points. Let's move on to the training organizations. I think you're the backbones of membership driven professionals and how the instructors get their standards honed up within your organization's framework. Let's see what else can the training organizations do to ensure that your members and the dive instructors and dive masters can weather future storms. I'm pretty sure that COVID isn't the last one. We talk about the environment in a bit, but how else can the training organizations support your members and ensure that they're well taken care of in the next storms to come? Maybe we can start with Alex from TDI SDI.
Oops, sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. So thanks for having me. I'm Alex from TDI SDI. Well, this is a very unfortunate pandemic, and I think everyone is having tough times. I believe we can last through this. So how the agency can support, obviously, you know, during these tough times, we have members or businesses asking for more help, such as maybe extend their credits, you know, in terms of financially doing some deals with them. I'm sure all agencies are doing that in some ways, as well as, you know, the people can't travel for classroom. What can they do? What can we do? You know, that's where the online training comes in. Again, I'm speaking for REN and SSI and ourselves, SDI, TDI, I believe all of us have some form of online training available as well. So this is the situation now, right? And the situation in Singapore is very unique for the Singapore Dive Center. We are a very domestic market. We don't have international market coming here. You know, we are possibly like Singapore Airlines. There's no domestic routes. You know, it's all international. There's no place to dive here. So I think the message here is that we really need the local divers to be supporting the local dive centers. You know, the agency can do a lot to support the members, but at the end of the day, it is, you know, you guys who put the money where it is. You know, support local. We can, you know, we can grow together. We can go through this pandemic. So yeah, I believe we'll go through this. Thank you, Beng.
Okay, so I'm sure the TDI, SDI people are going to grill you later on for discounts and whatever else, whatever other benefits you're going to provide.
Yeah, they had already been doing that for the past 2 months. And then renewal specials and this and that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it really comes down to the consumer. You know, we can help them with all, but the consumer as well have to do their part, isn't it?
That's true. Okay. Ricky from SSI, do you want to give us your thoughts? Hi.
Hi, I'm Ricky. I think at this point with the current situation, I think the marketing shouldn't stop. We should continue to be constantly doing marketing on social media, expecting the public that diving is still possible. It means a lot of online courses instead of just waiting for the season to start or waiting for us as agencies, when the instructor teach more, they actually get rebate for their annual renewal. Take for example, the more you teach this year, by next year, probably you only pay half for your renewal. So these are some of the support that we give out to our members. And also we take this opportunity to upgrade our members, because this period of time, a lot of people is at home, so getting used to using Zoom to talk or communicate. So we are creating a lot of online courses, upgrading courses for our members, so that once they get themselves into this, they can actually sell all the online courses to their current customer or customer that is that previously died with them. And also, I think I think as agency, that's all we can do. There's so much we can do. But I think as a Singapore industry, if you group together, I think we create a lot more opportunity for each other. I think there will be a topic we can discuss in the near future about how the whole dive industry come together and brainstorm and how to kickstart and get more non-diver to come into the diving. That's all I have.
That's a good suggestion, Ricky. I think that's quite noble from coming from the training organization's standpoint, that the community come together and find solutions together as well. James from RAID, and then after this, I'll open it up to you guys, since you're members of these organizations, to ask some questions as well. So if you can prep for that. James, will you?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. So, yeah, how RAID is trying to help its members, and not only to deal with now, but as a long term, is trying to help build a stronger diving industry. So it's not just RAID, it's the industry as a whole. So some of the things that we can do as an agency and as a facilitator with everybody is trying to help promote some good business, better business practices. Trying to market by value add, giving better customer service, giving more benefits to your customers, be it branded material, merchandising, free T-shirts, or you may offer free upgrades for rooms, that kind of thing. Ways for the dive centers to have differentiation from each other in the market. People need to have a way to stand out from the crowd. It's a crowded industry in Singapore, being so small. So I think we have to realize that we have to move away from selling based on discounting prices. It's not good for us, for the industry, for anybody. And obviously now when times are hard and money is tight, that's when this kind of thing shows to being a bad policy to have followed in the past. What we're trying to do is RAID tries to offer high value for money products. So what we mean by that is offer to our members, to our dive centers, to our freelance instructors, etc., courses that they can offer more to divers. It gives them a product that's more marketable. Okay, emphasizing on being result focused. So when we talk about our members teaching, it's about mastery of skills, not just do a skill once and you're good enough kind of thing. So it's about quality of training, quality of education. And this comes back to what I mentioned previously, differentiating yourself. So doing one of those is by quality. So another thing that I think agencies can do as a whole, we're not just talking RAID here, is forcing some innovation in the dive industry. So agencies need to release unique products, unique courses. We need to grow the market from where it is. Now, they could be courses that are taught by remote teaching, remote learning. So it's courses completely online for people. There is no classroom session, no pool sessions, no diving. Obviously, it depends on the topic, but offer things for people to do to become involved and in the diving industry now and in the future without them getting wet. keeps people's interest up in the industry and tries to avoid the people learning to dive and 6 months later they go off and learn surfing or some other sport that kind of looks cool at the time. You know, a month or two back, RAID made a big statement in the industry by opening up all our courses to view as a preview. So that was one of these ideas. Give anybody the opportunity to read and preview a diving course, whether they're a diver or not. Let them see what they could learn. Okay. We need to look at how we can develop new ways to teach. That might sound a little bit strange, but it's something we need to do. We all need to work together. All agencies work together with industry players like DAN, the Recreational Scuba Training Council, equipment manufacturers, to figure out ways to develop the market from how it is now and how it has been for many, many years. The industry technology for training for over the years, realistically. Okay, a good example for that is very simply Zoom and FaceTime. Everybody's using it now for teaching. It's always been there. It's not something that got invented 2 months ago. It's always there, but it's just never been utilized properly for diving education. So, you know, an example, some of the innovation. There was a virtual nitrox analyzer app released a month or so ago. So it gives people the opportunity to complete their nitrox course at home by learning how to analyze a tank on their mobile phone. Now, that's an extremely simple idea, but it had never been done before. So again, the industry kind of is slow to adapt and change. So we need to look at that and change that. And the last thing I think that's important is we need to encourage, like Ricky has said and Alex has also mentioned, we need to encourage the community to collaborate as dive centers, as instructors, as agencies. Dive operators working together to share resources, especially as everything starts to turn back on again. As others have said, likely numbers will be low. Sharing buses, sharing dive boats, things like that, that can help the individual dive center start and get running into business. Okay? Sharing ideas, how to do things better, more efficiently, etc. Adapt and innovate how we're running our businesses. It's not the same, not the same as they have been. Everybody has to recognize that working together is good for everybody, right? We have to be an industry together, not individuals. We only get strong if we work together, not working alone. Thank you. That's it. Thank you, Stefan.
Thanks. Nice one, James. I'll open it up to you guys. Anything that you want to share? Congratulate the three of you for being open to collaborations. It's always a good day when dive operators share, whether it's boats, buses, resorts, and that's the law of the sea. When we get out to sea, we're all brothers, right? Any of you have any questions for the training organizations?
Nobody is asking for discount.
You'd rather do this in private? Okay, we'll KIV the questions, but thank you for sharing, Alex, Ricky, and James. Why don't we talk about ourselves as service providers? Maybe we can get a few of you to chime in on this. What do you think we can do as a community of dive operators, of service providers, including the resorts, the liverboards, even the equipment suppliers? What do you think we can do for ourselves to help recover from a storm like COVID-19? And do you think we need representation through an association of sorts that has our interests and our well-being at heart? Jacki from ADA, do you have any thoughts on that?
First. Hi everyone, I'm Jacki here from ADA, and thanks for having me. Yeah, sure, Beng. I think many of the people much more senior and in the business for much longer time have addressed many of the very valuable things that to work on, digital transformation and like getting people more excited. I guess what we can do as a whole play a very crucial role to how we tie through probably short term to mid term, and of course, if we get the synergy on the longer term, might be better for everyone else. But definitely on the mid term and short term, it's very useful that if we could get together and really work as a whole. So I think other than that, maybe address another part of it is that I think we should really sunk in the part where this is really a crisis for our industry, the reality of it. There's nothing much worse that when you cannot travel and you cannot get together, and diving is not much of diving when we only left with theory. I think that's the reality of it. So when we see it as a crisis, if we're at war right now, I think we will really put down all our self-interest and really like get through this, right? I think that's one of first and foremost that have to be addressed, and with that mindset, I think we will have a good start. In terms of mechanics, whether to have an organization to do so or not, I believe we should have one, and we should have it. But in what shape and what form, I think that have to be discussed. But it will definitely be useful for the association, and in particular for the short term, what the association can do in coordination with the agencies and of course with people like ADEX and the media side. I think with working with them in terms of helping with marketing and coming up with good products, and so I think those are very useful. But I think as a whole, as an association, one of the very interesting thing is that we can actually get together and see how we can save costs. We could put resources together, manage as a pool and manage as an association. But of course, the mechanics is the part that's very tricky. Who get to say what and what? The marketing system, right? They're never perfect, right? I guess that particular part, if we could get it sorted out, I think as a whole to save costs, I think can be very interesting for us, and that would be a crucial silver bullet for us to tie through this tricky period. Yep. I think that's all. Yeah.
Good point. Comes down to also our personalities and how we can humble ourselves, right?
Yeah. I think
to see how we can sit on the same boat and work together. I think that's something to iron out.
Yeah, exactly. The part that we have to we have to sunk in the part where we're at war, and it's really survival, and our personal stuff is probably quite secondary. Yeah. There's nothing much left to. There's nothing much left to say who is what or whatever left. We're all gonna die. I'm sorry.
Jacki, you grow wiser with age, huh?
We're supposed to say positive. I'm very sorry. But yeah. So that's the reality of it, and yeah.
Okay. Eddy, what do you have to say to Jacki?
Well, I totally agree with Jacki. I think a couple of years back, we have actually tried to get together, to discuss how the industry can come together as one. Share resources like dive equipment, even our logistic, transport. And some of you guys are actually operating resort in Indonesia and Malaysia. If we can come together and work together, and honestly, as what Jacki said, if we are not going to do it now, we are all going to die.
we're all gonna dry up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's really about time that all of us regardless of which dive center you are from, come together and really do it as one. Really. Yeah. Beng.
If you all can remember, I think quite a few of you are of that age and era. Jacki, Ricky, John, Alex, you were there from the start as well. If you can remember, in 2006, those were good days, because there were 35, 36 Singapore dive centers that actually came together. And it didn't take us long, took a few beers, but it didn't take us long to agree on things that we could agree on. And I think it moved in the right direction for a short while. And I think if you can trace back and take the positives from that time and paste it onto a kickstart from today, I think we'll do well. Martin, do you have some suggestions?
Yeah,
on
I
what
mean,
we
hey
can
guys, I
do for
totally
ourselves?
agree. No, I agree with Jacki, Jacki and Eddy, with what's happening. We need to stand united, guys. I mean, if you're looking at this situation, some people say, "Oh no, it's not that long. It's only been 2 months." However, you look at the operator's point of view, that 2 months could be actually hell on earth, right? You're talking about rent, talking about expenses, you're talking about is anybody being or has any form of association actually step up to call any one of us to actually say what assistance do you need? Have you actually had any form of assistance? You know, let's not talk about diving associations, but local association, right? Committee which was formed previously, right? There was no news, no sound from them. Right? I mean, if you're looking at how we can work as a community of operators, I think this is the best time, like what you guys are recommending. I think we should actually form like a dive industry stakeholders association where all of us come together with a common understanding. Obviously, our common goal is to get some business out of it, but we also have a common passion, that is diving. We love it. That's why we came into this industry. And if you look at all divers, basically we're a bunch of happy-go-lucky guys. You know, we actually kind of move forward. We move with the trend. We try and conserve. We try and protect our environment as much as we can, because that's kind of our playground, right? So if we could actually set up this association to address safety policies, to address dive standards, to like what you guys say, marketing, and even on products, right? I think that would be really, really fantastic. And if we do come back to this time of crisis, I mean, we won't know when it's going to end, right? Or whether it's going to resurface again, this particular virus. But we need to address local authorities, governmental bodies, certain ministries. I think we can act as one, as in a new association, right? And actually carry this out to the ministry and bring it up to a different level. And I think we may see some form of assistance. I'm not saying we may get it, but at least we get our voices out, right? To actually be together is something, there's always this common phrase, like, you get a bunch of twigs, you put it together, it's very hard to break, right? And to stay positive, we really become those bunch of twigs and stay together and not be the individual twig, we will definitely succeed, and we will definitely could be able to pull through after this COVID. I think, on a serious note, I think we really should kind of look into it, right? That's what I feel, right? That's kind of my view, and it would keep all the industry players at heart. We kind of, not just us here, but I believe there are other industry players out there also, whether they're young and the new breed, the younger guys coming up, right? Getting that support. That's kind of what my take is.
Okay, so good. Sounds to me like three of you are on the same page. Before we come to John, KL, you and Elvin have been in some form of associations. Maybe you can give us your thoughts on whether the industry here in Singapore can benefit from an association that has the interests of the operators at heart. KL, can you share some of your thoughts?
Yeah. Hi everybody. I'm KL from Marine Conservation Group. Previously, I was definitely in the diving industry. I would think that the association of a group of like-minded dive professionals or dive centers, and they come up with a certain common goal. I think that would be very great. instead of everybody trying to outbid one another, undercut one another, in the end, nobody benefits from it. I mean, that is from my point of view. I do remember the earlier years where the instructors were all very happy. We all make a living. So that there is, when we see each other at the jetty, immersing, or even the Jardine steps, we smile and say hi to one another. We have problems to help one another. But somehow along the way, something went wrong. There's a lot of competition among the dive operators. At some point in time, there were quite bad competition around. So I would think that everybody with a certain common goal there would get together and work something out would be really, really great. Yeah.
Good. So we follow Jacki's advice and we all become friends as we get older. Yeah.
No, I think we should look into take the communist model, right? Maybe that will work for us.
Socialist, eh?
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yes, become friends at least. Yes.
Thanks. Elvin, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Caillou. I totally agree with Caillou. I really miss the old days that we are meeting at jetty, helping one another. That's really, really fun. Yeah, I think our SUF probably needs to come out and do something for us. Yeah, no sound, no picture. Yeah, for the whole pandemic. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
I think maybe we should look at a newer format. I mean, something new. I think this whole situation draws for what's called restructuring and a really deep thought process into how we can move forward, right? I mean, let's not go back to the old ways. I mean, it's good to understand where we came from and what we did, but I think we should really think about restructuring and moving forward. That's my take. Yeah.
Good point. John, you've been in the thick of it. What do you think?
I think it's about time we should think about it not just for ourselves, as an industry or one community itself. This is something like the diving industry, no different from like other industry. Every industry the same. If we are thinking about competing or we're thinking about how to do a solution, we have a better to have an association on it. But I want to see on the both sides, right? I was in the SUF before, so I don't want to blame everything to a SUF like it's a problem. People will say what SUF can do for us. But don't forget, SUF is not a funding from the government, or SUF is a self-alone industry funded for the Singapore itself. When we really want to support SUF, how many members who join this SUF is very, very limited. But I also don't blame on the dive center why they don't join, because they were the first thing that why if I join, what is my benefit for that? So if whoever in the SUF, if we don't have a solution for dive industry, they will not join. Because they don't join, there is no funding. Very hard for the person who run in the person. So for me, and also think that is that we need to be, SUF been around for more than 40 years. I think we have to start thinking about it, that we should really have to think about it because the SUF is a combination of the underwater hockey, rugby, and also fin swimming and free diving together. So we should think about it for the diving industry association, just for the diving association, because we have enough dive centers. You can look at it. We now got only 10 on board. I'm very sorry that this is not a 10 industry player in Singapore. We got so many. They are not. They don't have time, or they don't want to be on the camera to come on board to talk about it. But I think we need to have a dive association. I always believe that it's like, you want to fix the world, you need to fix yourself first. You want to fix other things you have to fix. So we have to look at it ourselves. What is our problem? We cannot blame everything to the government, or we cannot blame everything to association that, oh, this president cannot handle this or say. But when you are in, do you really want to support as a team, as a part of the whole community, if we want to create, so tomorrow we say, okay, 7 of us we want to found the diving association. It's the new members from the industry players are not joining us. This association cannot survive. That is how we have to think about it, how this funding to be survived. This association is strong. There is a funding is in how we can improve on the members, how we can give away in this kind of difficult times. And also this association, not just for the industry player, how to attract their community to be a part of that. So we can have a 2 meeting, industry player meeting and the community meetings, and we have to go to a school, we have to go to a, like it used to be in Japan, there is like all the university students, there is a diving club out there. So we have to start thinking about that, and that is what I think we need to look at it. And now a lot of people will say that because of time is changed, everybody is online now. I still think that it's not for the dive industry, because of when we will be attached to the online things, but the divers, you don't need a social distancing in underwater. People can stay diving together. You can hold hand to do diving if you want. So like, I think it's the ocean is healthy now. So like, I think people can't wait to go back to dive. So I still think that it's not, if you think about it positive way, this industry is not sunset industry. This industry is growing. How we can grow is not about you sit down and I sit down and somebody else do it. It's not right. We have to be part of this to do it. How to grow this industry? We have to create more divers. How to create more divers? All start from here. We cannot just wait for my neighbor have a more diver from Indonesia. We create here. How to create more divers? We have to have a youth program. We have to influence the youth together. So this dive association that for me is really needed. But to found this association not easy to go through. If you have a passion 7, you may not able to achieve that. So that is what my tip is. I really think that we need to put together. If you are standing alone, we cannot be. That's why that we need association to be a more voice, the louder voice for that.
Thanks, John. Well, thanks for bringing us into the picture. I mean, a lot of times we forget in the heat of our business and training divers that we forget why we train divers for, right? And I think COVID-19 is this whole situation that we're in is giving nature a slight breather with the lockdowns that are reducing emissions globally and all the social activities, right?
For me, it's very important for the like support each other. So like, for example, like if you're a dive center, if you join this association and you will ask what association can do, association cannot do anything because of if you don't have enough membership to how to grow that. So like, it's just a phasing that I don't blame on the past of what happened with SUF. It's the same thing. It's like you don't have enough member to how, because of when you are staying outside, but you only can say what you can do for me now is a time of situation. But ask yourself, are you a member to be a part of this? But also we have to ask the SUF ourselves and the associate ourselves, if you are not a member, if they are the joint member, what we can do for the members. We have to think about it that as well.
Okay, John, I think we'll take the association issue to the next conversation that we're going to have. These conversations amongst ourselves definitely won't end today. It's going to carry on, and we already agreed upon that before this meeting started. Let's move on to a point that you raised, John, about the environment. I was mentioning just now that COVID-19 is a situation where it gave nature a breather, a very slight breather, but we mustn't be complacent with where it's brought nature to. It's not a recovery. It's just a slight breather with the lockdowns. And we must remember also that there's an ongoing fight against climate change. And so this is by no means a recovery for Earth, but it does offer, as John did mention, an opportunity for us to start committing ourselves to one. And in that respect, maybe, I guess KO is here because he represents an NGO, and maybe we can think about how we can go back to the basics of scuba diving, right? I mentioned earlier that we get really caught up with training divers that we forget why we train them for. And we take the fun and the joy out of the ocean with our preoccupation with the business of diving. So how can the dive community contribute more towards Singapore's marine conservation efforts?
Yeah, thanks,
yeah.
Stefan. No, this COVID-19 thing, I mean, yeah, you mentioned that, it's breather for the nature, which is true. But the thing is, it has to get us thinking, right? That the recent pandemics or recent epidemics, whether it's SARS, MERS, H1N1, or this COVID-19, they are all transmitted from animals to human beings. So with that, it's because of close interactions with the animals. Why are there close interactions with animals? Because we destroy their habitats. Right. So they're forced to come into our domain. So I mean, the main one of the reasons for this habitat destruction is due to climate change. So I think we need to look at the environment as a whole to sort of hopefully prevent these kind of epidemics from happening again. So if I look at it, I mean, we are all diverse. I think all of us love the ocean, but do we actually sometimes sit down and rethink how we can protect the environment? So that's the important thing, right? So I think, yeah, you mentioned about things like Stephen, you mentioned things like we've been quite focused on making money, business, etc. Yeah, that's good, right? That's a must to do. But I think we mustn't forget about the environment. I think it both starts with the educators. I think it starts with the dive centers, the dive schools, the individual instructors. I think these are people, the good people to start off educating the general public on how they can protect the environment, especially with this, their figure of authority, and also when they speak to the students and all, they do listen and then they do learn from these instructors. So I think that the instructors need to send out a very strong message about the environment itself. I think also when I look around, I mean, most of the dive centers in Singapore, the dive schools, I think they are doing a pretty good job, right? But there are some dive centers who are not very sure how good they are, where they stand as with regards to conservation and stuff like that. I would think that if you look at this organization called Green Fins, they do have a certain guidelines that the dive centers can follow. So that will help to alleviate some of those problems that they face when you try to implement any measures to protect the environment. Then there are a number of the organizations in Singapore that are conducting programs, activities to help conserve the environment. I think the dive industry members should try to support these initiatives as much as possible. Things like NParks, they have the marine park, Sister Science Marine Park. They have plenty of programs there. We have of course Nature Society itself. Right. So all these organizations, they do conduct activities to educate the public, and I think those are very good initiatives. And the dive industry should support them as an entity itself. Then, but if you look at the dive community, it's not just the instructors. I mean, how many instructors are there? How many dive centers are there? But you have a lot more individual divers. Right. So some are experienced, some are not so experienced. Some are good with their skills, some are not there yet. But then if you look around, there are always ways to improve our impact on the environment itself, right? So we would like to create positive impact or reduce the negative impacts. So things like, we all learn things like all our buoyancy skills so that we don't break corals, etc. That it's those are important things that you can learn. Okay, the other thing that I would like to emphasize is things like the our habits of consumption habits and lifestyle habits, right? Things like plastics. I think we should try to avoid disposal of plastics as much as possible. If not, some of them will end up in the sea, and that will actually kill some of our marine lives. So yeah, things to watch out on that. Like
thanks, Dale. Thanks. Okay, I tell you what. Before we get into it, there's some really good comments coming through. So we want to share as many of those as possible. I'm just going to leave you with some things that we've done locally, and some ways that you guys can get involved at a local level, because a lot of your expertise has been overseas, and to bring that back can be really valuable to everybody around you. So Alphonse, if you can share. As you all know, we've got the smallest marine park in the world, all 40 hectares of it. The Sisters Islands Marine Park is small in nature, but it's big on biodiversity and species richness. And in 2017, we actually formed a network, a community network called the Friends of Marine Park. And this basically is a platform where it brings together representatives of civil society, or academics, and as well as government and NGOs as well. And it gives an opportunity for them to have a hand in planning and managing the protected area that we have. It also gives them a chance to give back. A lot of us, and many years in the industry, have been taking all we can from the sea and enjoying it, but we seldom have a chance or the opportunity to think about how we can give back to it. So there are a few ways that you can get involved. I think Martin from Marlin Divers is already involved as an approved operator to bring people out to the marine park. James Costello, you've been out there with us before, and you raised the Singapore flag during one of the national days. That was a good time. So one of the things that I'd be happy to see is more of you joining in. Of course, there's some prerequisites and requirements to make sure that you're all good, not just with standards of your operations, but also that you have the reef's interests at heart. Some other ways that you can get involved is to volunteer. I see a lot of dive instructors and dive masters actually not just guiding diving, but they also become guides for intertidal walks. And trust me, it's valuable learning and training, because you are so used to making noises and pointing at things underwater that when you come to intertidal walks, you can actually talk. So you don't have to make gestures and noises with your mouth anymore. So that's one other way. The third way is that we started a Dive Pro give back session, and I see it as a way to reduce our burnout. For one, you guys all talked about sharing a boat and going out together. This is one of those occasions where we limit it only to the dive professionals for you to come in and together as a community of dive professionals go out there and maintain the dive trails at the marine park, at the Sisters Islands Marine Park. So think about that, giving back some good hard work to the reef, and as well as enjoying each other's company, as you said earlier. The last thing is, you talked about associations, and I see some of the comments coming through on the questions that it is a good idea, regardless of what the body is that represents all of you. As long as you're united on it, and as long as you come in with a mindset on collective aspirations to make sure that this very first marine park that's been bargained for and asked for a number of years, through a few generations even, is successful. And I think that's all we ask, really, is that you come in with that mind, and you come in with a heart of giving and sharing with each other, not just amongst the industry, but with other people within the community as well. So that's, once you have that, and that can represent the dive industry, I'm waiting over on the other side to welcome you guys in to see what other opportunities there are. I heard a comment earlier that there's not much dive sites within Singapore, and there actually are. So we can explore and we can see how best we can tide over also with other opportunities that we have locally. Okay, so with that, maybe we can open up to questions. I saw any comments from you guys first?
Yeah. Maybe John Thet should start diving. Hello.
Hey, John, you got any comments?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm kidding. Let's move it for the questions. It's very amazing for someone like John that he's very close to it, but he's not personally at it for many reasons, for good reasons. But he has stayed passionate and yeah. So it's kidding, but let us maybe move on to the questions. Beng.
Okay, one is.
You guys want to
actually there are more comments. I think there's a comment from.
Someone said that why we want to create a new association, or we should join with travel association or something like that. The idea of things that is what I tried to say just now was, it's the same things that the goal is work together, but it's never been easy. Work together, easy to say, it's not easy to achieve because of its different agenda from a different association that is. So I think it's not we really have to, when we talk about it, how to create community, how to create industry. That is the most important. Just now what Stephen shared is it's a part of the conservation that is like also it can be a together we can. I'm really wish that it's like when you start teaching from all the certificate level, you should be start also the dive master and dive instructor level. They will be put it in the conservation education on ocean. Because of that, the ocean is healthy. This industry will be healthy. This is what I believe. And I just want to remind again, don't lose hope in the but because of this situation, our industry is I'm strongly believe that it's a lot of young generation are diving. You can see in the young generation, and used to be a lot of men divers, and nowadays more women divers are around. We see a lot of improvement. So how we put together to achieve that and put it together, and we all started from within ourselves. We start from Singapore. We show other that how Singapore dive industry, how we can put together to achieve what we want to achieve. We can go far from that. And because of the way that operator here connect with all our neighbors, it's not just a local itself. It's so I think we can really put it together. And please always think about it, how to influence more become more diverse. So more diverse means industry will be healthy. That is something that is we should put it together, and also at the meantime educate about conservation and ocean. It is part of our duty is for our industry as an industry player for S1. So that aim is together we can achieve on that. So like we just like don't sit and wait for somebody to do it. It's join together to being part of that. That is my meaning of just now what I try to say. It doesn't matter what association, we join together. And then yeah.
Well, with you, John. Okay, let me just reinforce that with two comments. One from Jimmy Chu. Jimmy says, this is the best time for the industry to stand together and work as a team. Forget about the differences, and we can only survive if we stand united as one. Thanks, Jimmy. You all know Jimmy, yeah? The other one is from Jeffrey Nathaniel Sin. And he says dive centers are pretty similar across the industry. That is, everyone provides courses, equipment, and all so similar. But it's the community that makes a difference. And thinking, working together is the way to go. So he really loves the community that he sees right now. I think that's what he meant. But encouraging, and I think that led by the training organizations, I think it's a fantastic idea. And let's see it through this time. Just one, I think we have time for just one question. There's the market in Singapore is small. This is from Noraliza Ismail. The market in Singapore is small. What are the plans for this collective association to address the interest, to address the native new bloods of or aspiring divers?
I think I can answer on that. It is like a industry is not small if you know how to look at it. It depends on how your vision is go. The vision for the Singapore is always being most of the things that is not just a Singapore itself. You can look at it. A lot of our industry player from Singapore, they have a different, like they already been to the Malaysia market, they've been Indonesia market, they've been so like I think industry is not small, but this association that how we want to support our industry player and also how to educate the community to grow. So like that is something that this for me is, so we need association to be really have to drive it, but association cannot just drive it as 7% alone and 7 dive center and then just like, oh, you cannot do much. So really have to be joined together to be part of, to create, to support it. I don't believe there is the because of the size of the things, because of diving is all connected. You can dive in anywhere in the part of this ocean is big. So I think you can grow from that.
Okay, last question before we sign off. Our friends, we okay?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, this is to the dive center owners. So any of you can chime in. It's from Jeffrey Sin again. Singapore being a place with limited diving facilities, basically we only have Hantu as compared to overseas, and as a millennial consumer, I would say that we are sensitive towards price. Often I realize that traveling to Bali, for example, is cheaper to engage dive centers there rather than going through a dive center in Singapore. So question is, how can local dive centers in Singapore address this so that you can retain and attract divers to engage you instead?
The question
Martin?
is to us? Oh.
Yeah, is any one of us?
I think the part about the association, we look at the association in a very narrow that is Singapore, right? But I think the association with an organization like ADEX can play a very, very big part in facilitating the Singapore dive industry to do business in our regional area. A body like ADEX, we have been a very successful hub to bring the businesses come in here. But the part where engaging the local diving businesses to leverage on that connection, I would say is something that the association can look into and really harness it. It's not something that is far-fetched, and many organizations and many Singapore government level has been working on that. How do you bridge the Singapore businesses to other places? I mean, we have some businesses, we have some experience opening businesses outside of Singapore from ourselves. It's very, very tough. And I think that part plays a very big part. And also to answer the question from the earlier question, I think if we have operation beyond just Singapore, like maybe Bali or anywhere, you can always book from us, and you can get you can get better services, but actually we get to control the whole entire how should I put it, the whole entire experience. And then you can come back to us and tell us because the operator, the place that you're going is in Bali, but actually the operator is in Singapore too. So that's something that maybe we can address on that, and looking at that. I think like you look at George, his operation is in Malaysia as well. And but there's many parts that we can do utilizing this part from an association and from ADEX standpoint. We can look into that part, and together I think it's much stronger. We can leverage on many resources to make that easier. Yep. Hopefully
Thanks.
answer that
Okay,
question.
final say, Eddy, and then Martin. How can you keep Singapore divers here going with you instead of going straight to Bali or Malaysia and bypassing you?
Can I just chip in?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think this is the effect of globalization, isn't it? You can always get things faster, cheaper, from anywhere in the world. It's not just scuba diving. If you want to buy something now, you Google, the first thing that come out is Lazada. The second is Shopee, example. You want to buy a bicycle, some manufacturers sell you directly without any middleman. So it's all the effect of globalization. And same for diving, resorts are trying to get customers from anywhere in the world. And true enough, consumer can go directly. But obviously going with the Singapore Dive Center, there are advantages. You get a better service. You have anything about your trip cancellation, somebody is here to help you. And don't forget, you're also supporting the local economy. You're putting food on somebody's table. You're helping somebody's kid go to education. You might pay a little bit more, true, but I mean, it's the local economy, so, and there are pros and cons, isn't it? So I think I don't run a travel agency myself. So I guess those people who run a travel agency like Elvin, you probably can tell them what are the benefits of really, booking that with the Singapore Dive Center than just booking with a dive center in Sulawesi that you never went there before. You don't have any research. You only read a review or see the cheapest price. There's got to be some benefit from engaging the Singapore Dive Center. Alvin, you have anything?
Okay, I'm sorry, we actually run out of time, but you know what? I mean, based on the conversations today, very, very encouraging, and I'm sure that we'll see all of you together again, and hopefully with another body that represents the dive industry favorably. So over to you, Franz, and thanks, John, for hosting us.
Right, thank you. Right, thank you very much. Thank you to all the panelists for the insightful information, and Stefan, moderator for this panel. So divers out there tuning in live should know who to contact after the circuit breaker if they wish to go diving. So what do we have up next, Jasmine?
So after this, before we end this panel, I would like to inform that we actually do have another program later. We'll be inviting Gideon Liu from GUE to speak about underwater caves around the world, and this will be held at 6:30 later in the evening. So please stay tuned and show some support.
Right, okay, thank you, Jasmine. So once again, thank you to all the panelists and also Stefan for moderating this panel. Stay tuned and we will see you at the next live session at 6:30. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
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 Are we staying behind for beer?
Yeah. We'll do it later on. Bye.
Are we off live or are we still on live?
It's still recording, right?
Yeah,
are we on live?
Offline now, and we're going to stand by for the next panel.
Don't take out rolling.
But is this room going to be open or closed?
No, it's going to be closed.
Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you very much.
Bye,
Really
everyone.
Good night.
Yeah.